Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, I want to continue from my last podcast discussing ways in which you're ruining your sleep and the discussion on consuming sugar. Because I've received tons of messages in the Acupuncture is My Life app, and if you don't already have it, simply download it at your app store. Many individuals were asking as to which sugars are good for you, which are bad, and how can you put together certain types of sugars with certain foods to offset how sugar impacts your sleep. And some individuals inquired about alternatives to sugar, and that'll satisfy their sweet tooth and not affect their sleep at all. And those are some good questions, and I responded, but there are several ways you can mitigate the negative effects in which sugar has on your sleep, and one of them is how you control your stress. And we discussed this on Acupuncture is My Life TV, which is streaming on Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, as well as Android TV. We discussed this. But here in this podcast, just basically, when you're feeling stressed out, one, try and look for alternatives, such as meditation or taking a nap or just going for a walk, sipping on some tea. Because when we're stressed, we tend to look for comfort foods. And you want to be conscious as to what you put into your body. Because, of course, you are what you eat. So what you put into your body has the potential to create a slew of problems or issues that'll increase your stress levels. So you really want to be careful and focus on, when you're stressed, how can you, even when you're not stressed, in some downtime, this is why it pays to not always want to be in crowds or around a lot of individuals. And you want to take advantage of what we're faced up with these days. There's restrictions, and whether it's self-imposed or otherwise. You want to be very careful. But you want to use this time to really reflect. And here's a good moment to think about, when you're stressed, what are ways in which you can mitigate the effects without turning to comfort foods. And these things such as long walks, exercising, meditating, or just talking to someone. And if you feel you even need a specialist to talk to, many individuals will contact Acupuncture is My Life because our network does consist of psychiatrists and psychologists and psychotherapists that we put many individuals in touch with. So there are alternatives to seeking comfort food when faced with stress. The others you want to limit, and I hate using that word because I speak a lot of just no alcohol. And I know for some individuals, certain times of year where it's really festive, you want to have a glass of wine or you want some alcohol. I understand that. But there are many alcoholic drinks that contain huge amounts of sugar, which tends to raise your blood sugar levels. So even if you want to have a drink, you don't want to drink within a few hours before bedtime. You want to give your body time to metabolize the sugar as well as the alcohol. And your body needs a few hours to do that. And once you've had your last drink, you really want to look at drinking a good amount of room temperature water to flush it out of you, and maybe 1 or 2 cups of green tea at the end of all of that. If you can avoid alcohol, the better. But you let your last drink be a few hours before it's time to go to bed. Another thing you want to consider is staying away from processed, refined, or added sugars, because these are empty calories that destroy a person's gut microbiome, therefore inducing inflammation in the gut as well as the brain. And as a result, you setting yourself up, putting yourself in a state of poor mental health with high potential, high risk for neurodegenerative diseases over a period of time. So you really want to be careful. Because what you're putting in your mouth, your brain depends on as well for nutrition. You know, fruits, I speak fruits. You need sugar, get it from berries. Whether strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, get it from berries. Have an apple, have a banana, have a peach, have a pear. A few slices of pineapple. I mean, you have tons of, many in the way of choices as far as sweetened foods. And you want to be careful as to when you're consuming sugar. Avoid it late in the day when your body's calming down and preparing for sleep. Whole foods are the best. All natural. Fruits. And so forth. You have to, I keep telling you guys this. Health is wealth. The wealth isn't in the stock market. It's not in the bank. It's not in the safe. It's not in your pocket. It's not in your purse. It's not under your mattress. It's not in the shoebox in the closet. And it's not under the doghouse in the backyard. It's in you. But to answer some of the questions that I was unable to answer on the Acupuncture My Life app with regard to pairing sugar with different types of foods, like let's say if you realize it got close to bedtime and within a few hours and you ate sugar and you're nervous, grab a handful of almonds or pistachios or cashews or walnuts. Why? Because these types of nuts contain both zinc and magnesium, which promote sleep. And it prevents sleeplessness. It's good for going to sleep in some chamomile tea. Whoa! Think of that combination. Very simple. Just came to mind. Gotta recommend this to some of my patients. But just a handful of nuts. I love pistachios. I love cashews. I know sometimes almonds and walnuts can be boring. They're boring to me. I'll pop some in every now and then. But if I realize, I've had sugar. I'll eat some pistachios. I mean, the amount of zinc and magnesium is good for you. But for me, why would I do it is, to avoid heavy meals before bedtime, period. Because your lightest meal should be dinner. That should not be your heaviest meal. And sometimes if I wanted to avoid dinner but not go to bed hungry, I would eat pistachios, cashews with light sea salt, drink some chamomile tea, and I'm out. Try it. But you know what also helps is like being aware as to the types of foods you purchase and bring home. And many individuals don't realize it starts there. Your pharmacy is the produce section at a supermarket, not the snack aisle. That's like the road of darkness. The trail of peril. Like you're about to go off a cliff. Stay out of that aisle. When you're going into a supermarket, like tape off the snack aisle. When you look up and you see the signs for, snacks are in this aisle, just take some duct tape. Just tape it off, then write. And black marker, do not enter. Because what you keep in your home is what eventually becomes your habit, because it's what's going to tempt you and eventually disrupt a healthy sleep pattern. You fill your refrigerator up with unprocessed foods, or your pantry, your cabinet with unprocessed foods, fruits in the fridge and stuff like that, teas, herbal teas in the cabinet, nuts and so forth. You are doing yourself a favor. And in making decisions on types of foods that are rich in fiber. Why? Because they take longer to digest, which means you'll be satisfied longer and you won't get that peckish urge the closer it gets to bedtime. And this is why I speak of fruits so much, because fruits tend to be high in fiber, as well as it being nutrient dense, which is important. Very important. And you include, sitting with an acupuncturist, they'll make you aware of this. Contacting Acupuncture Is My Life, we'd make you aware of that. So while you're listening to Acupuncture Is My Life podcast episodes, think about it. You don't need to literally right now be in an acupuncturist's office just to get the knowledge that you're getting now, the information rather, that you're getting now. But I still highly recommend that you make acupuncture part of your life, because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?